So we got a new whitelist. I'm excited. I actually played with a whitelist that was pretty much this. Uh, there were like two weapons that were different last night. So I think that I'm able to provide a pretty unique perspective on the whitelist and how it plays, how I played with it. Um, so yeah, I'll get right into it, I guess. Pretty much what happened is that these people, along with a few other people, met in a mumble. There was a meeting. ESEA admins, ETF2L admins, um, top players from around the world. They got together and said, "This is the whitelist that we're all going to be universally using next season," which is awesome if you've kept up with TF2, because for a long time ETF2L's whitelist was super strict and ESEA's was kind of strict, and then ESEA's stayed kind of strict, and ETF2L's got pretty lenient, and now everything is the same. So regardless of what you think about the actual whitelist that they used, it's a good thing that we as a community have just picked something and we're going to move forward with it. I'm sure that there's going to be a debate, public debate about the effects of different weapons and how they change the game. But honestly, like I said, I had played scrims last night with these weapons. I honestly don't think that any of the weapons that are allowed in are too ridiculously overpowered or too game breaking to where they change the way that we play the game. Essentially, our team was using pretty much a stock lineup, just same thing as always: two scouts, two soldiers, demo, and a medic. The only thing that we changed from what we normally do is that our demo was running the quickie bomb launcher and the lock and load as opposed to stock. And basically, we played pretty much like we had always played, except the demo played more like demos did back in 2012-ish, where they were able to do a little bit more and they were a little more powerful. And so I think that there are naturally going to be a few people complaining about this kind of thing, but yeah, I do have a few concerns that I'm going to just talk about really quickly. I want to actually keep playing with these things for a few weeks to figure out how I really feel about them. My big concerns are primarily the Rescue Ranger and how that's going to affect last holds. We'll see if that makes a big difference in any last holds, if that makes it harder to push into certain maps, which are already hard for pushing against a sentry gun. Because if you play sixes, you know that the engineer kind of stands around spawn and just waits for his gun to go down, and then he just switches off engineer. That's just how NG is used primarily in sixes. And so it's kind of like a straight upgrade, but we're going to have to play and see the effects of that straight upgrade. If it's too big a deal, then I'm sure they'll remove it, but I feel like it's probably not going to be too bad. Other than that, the Gunslinger is banned. Gunslinger was nerfed like a year or two ago, and it's not too good. It's a little bit frustrating to play against, but I don't think that having an engineer running Gunslinger is worth giving up a soldier or scout. There are certain situations that it will favor you, and Flatline actually had a huge Gunslinger play in our game last night, but it's not something that is going to be run regularly. It's not something that's difficult to counter, and it's a pretty much it's a non-factor against a good team, because it's really easy to counter with a little bit of coordinated aggression. Other things that I'm a little bit concerned about, the sandwich, if you will. It's not too huge a deal, but it is going to be frustrating, I think, bombing medics that just won't ever die. I feel like that, combined with a few, with things like the Rescue Ranger and the Natasha, are going to make for some silly last holds. But at the same time, if you're running that many off classes, including like a heavy and an engineer that's a little bit more devoted to his gun, it's going to be really hard to push out of last, and so you're going to be able to maybe hold last longer, but it's at the disadvantage of potentially not being able to push out when you otherwise would have. So it's not too concerning to me. Other things that were a bit concerning are the Girardi. The thing about Girardi, though, is that if you're playing sniper and you're close enough to where you can get a Girardi sightline on somebody, you should be picked off. That shouldn't, that kind of aggression, if you were that aggressive, you should be getting shots off, not just hoping to hit something with a projectile and then hoping that your teammate also hits them with other shots. It's kind of, it's a good weapon for sure. It's definitely better than like the SMG in my opinion, but we'll have to see how it plays out, and we'll have to see how teams will adapt to having that in their arsenal. Other than that, all the spy stuff is unlocked. I think that was how it was in ETF2L, but the Diamondback is a very good weapon. It's like comically good, and so I think that the Diamondback combined with the recently buffed Big Earner, combined with the recently passive buff Spy buff, where the movement speed is increased, I think that you're going to actually see Spy played a little bit more often. I think that it's going to be, the risk is still high, but the chance of getting something is a little bit higher. So I don't think that you'll see it outside of stalemate fights, but I think during stalemate fights, it's a little bit more palatable for teams to say, let's go Spy now, which is fine. I mean, Spy's a cool class. It makes games really fun to watch. It's really fun to play. If you've never played Spy in Sixes, it's very fun. Yeah, I mean, we played a scrim yesterday with this stuff, and it wasn't bad at all. It was actually pretty fun to just have to call, like, it was like matchmaking without the really stupid stuff, and so it was actually really fun. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if everybody's going to enjoy it, but I think it'll be interesting to see what people do with this stuff. And if there's anything game breaking, then I think that definitely we should be like before like postseason, before tournaments and or not but before like playoffs and stuff, then we need to maybe reevaluate this stuff. But I think during the regular season, who cares? You know, it's regular season matches. Just have fun, try to win using the new stuff, and see what you can do. Actively experiment with different combinations and stuff, like the soldier backpacks and all. I think the teams are going to be able to do a lot of work with that kind of stuff, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Oh, one more weapon, the atomizer. I think that is going to frustrate a lot of soldiers, but as a soldier that runs shotgun, it's not quite as bad for me. So maybe you'll see Shotgun Pocket making a comeback. I don't know. But yeah, guys, I think that it's a good thing for us to stay positive about this. Think about the kind of message that this sends to the more casual players. Like, we want people to play competitive TF2, and I love that we're able to actually do that now by like saying, you know, we listen to you. There's still stuff that we're not gonna unban, but like we want to unban everything that we can, and I think that's a good thing. Do I think that the group that did this maybe overstepped the mark of what they should allow in? I think that, in my personal opinion, probably a little bit. But this is way closer than what the ETF2L whitelist was last season, where this is way closer to what it should be. And it's way closer than ESEA's whitelist last season. And so I'm happy, I'm hyped, and I'm looking forward to playing some more TF2. Also, best thing about this whole thing is right here. Trombone taunts unbanned. Hashtag trombone in the whitelist. Let's go. But yeah, that's all I really have, guys. Thanks for watching. If there's any weapons that I find to be particularly frustrating to play against, I think I might have mentioned this in the video already, I'm going to make another actual in-depth video with footage and analyzing and telling you why it's not good to be in the whitelist, so that way there's actually something that we can look at and say, yeah, that's kind of silly. But until then, guys, I'm looking forward to experimenting with this stuff. I'm also looking forward to not having to play with a completely open whitelist, because that would be just poopy awful bad. So yeah, see you guys around. TF review, I'm going to keep doing that. I tweeted about this, but I'm going to keep making those. So this Saturday I'll be talking about this stuff and everything else that happened in this week of TF2, both as the community and personally. So I'm really looking forward to keeping working on those videos, and I appreciate you guys watching them.